Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Well, the continuing escalations might actually have us going on the last leg down. Now, what I mean is that they're saying that the full invasion, the partial invasion of small parts of Ukraine has already been commenced. Russia has moved troops into the two regions yesterday and the day before. And pretty much all the advisors are saying a full-scale invasion is imminent. And this could actually be the start of the last leg down in terms of crypto. Now, crypto has held up a lot better than stocks up until now because both the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq and everything else fell yesterday, but the crypto actually rose yesterday. In fact, even though we fell just 1,000 points, we're about at the same place we were 2 days ago. If you actually look at the chart of the last 5 days, if you look at a chart of the last 5 days, we're basically at the same, maybe slightly higher, but basically at the same point as we were at the bottom about 2 days ago. So we did have kind of like this leg up, which we actually went to like 38, 39,000, and then we came down. Now, if you look at the stock market, we're down already 239 points on the futures. The S&P is actually in officially in correction mode, as is the Nasdaq and the Dow. So essentially, the Russian situation has plummeted the stock market, and I don't think crypto can hold on that much longer. Now, I do think it'll fare better than stocks, and it will be more positive overall. So I'm guessing another 1,000 or 2,000 point drop from right here within the next few days, especially if Putin decides to wage an all-out invasion. Now, if he backs off, and we resolve this diplomatically, regardless of how this resolves out, even if we have to give him essentially the two areas of Ukraine, and we resolve it that way, I do think the market will actually go up. Remember, like, Ukraine's not that strategically important, at least like not those two parts of Ukraine. They're not strategically important to the United States. There's no real big trade in those two regions. So giving Putin those two regions wouldn't actually hurt us financially, and it would actually make the markets go up faster. However, it would be kind of a disaster diplomatically that would signal that the US is not ready to defend other allies like Taiwan. So that's a bit of a problem right now. So essentially, we'll have to see how this comes out. If NATO goes on with the sanctions, the invasion goes on and this drags out, I predict that the next 2 or 3 months probably will not be going upward. But if there is a big spike downward, it should come in the next few days if they decide to invade. So I do see us wicking maybe down to 30K if that's possible. But I don't think such low values will hold very long. So if it wicks down to 30K or less, you should take that opportunity to actually buy, especially on the altcoins. It'll wick down very, very hard, and then it'll probably come back up. So there is a chance to get some profit in that. So right now, as you can see, if you look at like the 5-day, it's definitely still kind of downward. Like it doesn't matter if you look at top or bottom to bottom. Like bottom wise, it's still downward. Top wise, it is still downward as well, just by a little bit. So right now, we're definitely going on a short-term downward trend. I'm still hoping that Putin doesn't launch a full-scale invasion, but it does actually look like the troops are actually in place right now. So that's very, very bad. And everything is kind of depending on this. I know there's news about Mexico wanting to make Bitcoin legal tender. I do actually think Russia, like Putin and the oligarchs, buying Bitcoin might be helping it float a little bit. But at the end of the day, this actually introduces a lot of uncertainty. This will produce a lot of inflation. And because of that, I think the overall market will go down and crypto will not be able to bear it much more. Right now, we're still fairly close to $37,000, but we're no longer around $38,000. So we did actually go down about $1,000 very, very quickly around the end of the market day. And I think that's because they did see the futures kept on going down. We might actually hold about 36, 37, but if he invades, I do actually think we will actually wick down. On the technical analysis model, everything is actually going to be sell right now. We're way below any of the moving averages. The oscillators are fairly neutral, but I definitely put buying on hold for the next 2 or 3 days at least, or at least the next week, because I don't really know what's going to happen this weekend. I actually would think this weekend would be fairly bearish with what's going on right now. We have more inflation caused by this Russian situation. We have gas prices going up. We have consumer uncertainty. And yes, there is news like with Mexico trying to make Bitcoin legal tender, but I don't think that will actually offset the negative sentiment coming from world affairs. On the other hand, in the next 2 days, they hash out a diplomatic solution that's, even if it's bad for us diplomatically, I think it would actually be good for the financial markets and we will actually bounce back up. But I don't really see us hashing out a diplomatic solution because I think like Russia's terms are not going to be, starting terms are just not going to be acceptable at all to the West. On the weekly, we're still very, very much in sell. The oscillators are neutral, but basically we're below the EMAs and the SMAs for pretty much everything. And next week and the week following does look to be a pretty strong sell, especially looking at the geopolitical situation. Monthly, it's going to be on sell as well. And even the exponential moving average for the 20 month moving average is actually down. So we're definitely more on sell than ever right now. And if I were to say buy or sell, I would probably sell at this point because there's just too much stuff going on. There's too much chance for negative sentiment. And while there is a slight hope for a diplomatic solution, things have actually gone quite a bit worse than I would have expected so far in this conflict. And it does look like Putin does want to escalate it because he knows he has the advantage. He has a huge geographical advantage because he's right next to Ukraine and we're half a world away. And plus, most of the American people do not want to send troops into Ukraine. And Russia has already prepared for sanctions, so I'm not really sure how effective those sanctions will be. We did cut off the pipeline. Germany has cut off the pipeline as well. But that does not seem to have deterred Vladimir Putin. And I think he might be able to hold on better than the Western allies in these specific sanctions. He has managed to unite NATO more than it has been in 10 years, but that may not mean much because him and the oligarchs have absolute control over Russia, and I think they can drag this out, maybe even use cryptocurrency as a way to store their value. And I don't think them buying cryptocurrency will actually offset the negative sentiment. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.